I wrote about this topic because I lived it. I lived it as I wrote it. The reporter in me recognized it as a dynamite story, a transformation of the way we live and work that is as significant as anything since the dawn of the industrial age, one with ramifications for the economy, for gender, for parenting, for government, for public health. More than that, though, the young wife, the new mother, the recent graduate, the ambitious employee, all those parts of me just wanted answers, ones I could fold into my own life. This was a story, a journalist's beat, yes, but it was also very, very personal. Looking back at any journey leaves you with a mental album of snapshots, and scrolling through mine, I have more than a few before and afters. So there's the before of my parents, my mother telling me I could be whatever I wanted, and to be sure, she herself would have run the known Western world if only she'd been born a generation sooner. Instead, she did what traditional women do. She was a teacher and then a school counselor, and then she did what modern women do. She graduated from law school when I graduated from high school, but she knew she'd never become a partner in a law firm. She didn't even try for a firm, because women, mothers, just didn't do that then, right? But widen the shot, and there was my father, an orthodontist with a practice in what would have been the garage of our suburban house. And he was the one I came home to have lunch with every day during the school week. And he was the one with whom I checked in when I returned from school at 3. He, or to be honest, his receptionist, would bring me my homework when I'd forgotten it and chicken soup when I was out sick. Soon after my first son was born, and I spent my own maternity leave scrambling to finish a book, I called my mother in tears. "How do you do this?" I sobbed. "How did you work and parent at the same time?" "Lisa," she said in a tone that one uses when gently pointing out something obvious to someone oblivious, "your father was home." So now there's the after photo in which I grew up to be my father, doing work that I love, using tools available to build a life and a career where I don't have to choose, at least not every moment, between the two. There are so many more befores and afters. There's an early shot of me with a cell phone, a huge brick which looks like something Radar O'Reilly would carry around in MASH. And I was one of the early adopters at the New York Times. Before then, the editing process went something like this. You wrote a story, you sent it in by computer, you sat at your desk watching the trains leave on your watch while waiting for an editor to call you over and edit your story. So eventually you and the editor sat side by side while you answered his questions. Yes, he was almost always a he. And finally, you got the good night from the desk, which was permission to go catch whatever the next train might be. That cell phone, therefore, was my freedom. True, it made me one of the first really obnoxious people on Metro North to gab all the way home, but it also meant the difference between being home for bedtime and bath time and not being home for bedtime and bath time. Using technology as a tool with which to reclaim pieces of life would be a theme in my writing from then on. Another snapshot of me asking permission to write from home one day a week to push these new tools, modems, fax machines, and stretch the boundaries of my work even further. "Okay, but don't tell anyone," was the answer. You bet that led to stories about the capriciousness with which the new rules of work were being applied. Next to that, a snapshot of me officially leaving the New York Times and technically becoming a freelancer, a contractor, keeping my regular byline and my brand new Times email address, being expected to file on schedule, but trading a weekly paycheck for a monthly fee, giving up my benefits in exchange for the flexibility to work wherever I wished. There's nothing like firsthand reporting to deepen your understanding of the compromises and trade-offs being made as a new way of work labored to be born. Click, the early days of my column, Life's Work, when I argued more than once and with more than a little smugness that I'm now embarrassed to admit, that this life-work dilemma was clearly more of an issue for women than for men. Click again and see me in more recent days when I understand that as long as we think of this as a women's issue, a mother's issue, then we won't get anywhere close to a workplace that works as it should. Click, and I'm writing a blog about parenting called Motherlode. Click and readers, who can now talk back in this new Wild West frontier called the comments, are making it very clear that mothers are not the only ones who parent. Thank you very much. And Click, I write a column called Parent Tree, from wherever I please, as long as the work gets done. And yes, my new job gives me full benefits. And yes, I tell everybody that I work most of the time from coffee shops. Move finally to a wide shot of the remarkable staff I work with in this futuristic office, a place that boasts of nap rooms and yoga classes, of foosball tables and organic snacks, but a place that also assumes that life and work are one and the same. It's been decades since studies started proving that workers work best when they have control over their schedules, that flexibility is more important to many than a raise, that telecommuting saves gasoline, improves health and productivity and morale. Yet I have still spent a lot of time this year writing about Marissa Mayer's ban on working from home. In a way, though, the Yahoo story is an after photo. The uproar that followed her announcement is a testament to how ingrained, how assumed that right has become. A before shot would not have captured that much anger. It's an evolution I've spent all these years covering and living. It is still incomplete, as evolutions by definition always are, but it is stunning in its potential. The political, we all know, is personal, and that means I now have a new layer, a new lens on my work. My son, the one who had me calling my mother sobbing and who got me asking for that cell phone so I could be there for bedtime, is now a brand new college graduate. He's just started navigating his own life-work landscape. And now I'll be writing for him, too. Thank you all for creating the change for me to write about.